Yeah, Saint, you heading back to the ocean?
I've got everything worked out where I'm on a pretty much solid rotating schedule this year. I'm going back like end of March. So
you talk going back to the ocean like he's fucking Ariel or something.
Oh, yeah. The Netflix version of Ariel.
Hi, this is Fred Elephant Boy. Listen to the useless sense on your favorite way of getting a podcast.
Welcome to a new episode of The Usual Saints. I'm Mike D here this week with Saint and Jeremy. Jeremy, where you been, man? We haven't seen you for a while.
I'm sick.
With what?
COVID.
Oh, we didn't talk about it because I didn't know if you wanted to reveal that. So, hey, you heard it here first, folks. Jeremy had COVID. Jeremy, are you alive?
Yes.
Are you triple vaxxed or what?
No, I don't have the booster.
No, that sucks. Why not?
I haven't got to it yet.
Oh,
actually, I only have one shot.
Oh, you had the
Johnson & Johnson.
Johnson. That's right. You don't like needles, or blood or whatever. So how you doing? You said it wasn't. You said it wasn't so good for you.
Oh, yeah, I still got a cough, so that's annoying. But my antigen tests are all coming back negative now, and went for my first PCR test yesterday. So we'll see if I can go back to work or not.
Did you order your free tests from the government? Not that those count for your workplace, but
I think my wife ordered some. Yeah, because we went through quite a few tests.
Yeah, I bet. I can imagine. You guys are probably testing every day, hoping for a negative, and then going to get the PCR or whatever.
PCR is through work as well, so.
Okay.
I don't have a choice there.
Well, we're kind of glad you survived, so that's good. That look for the YouTube, that's going to be Jeremy and his look. Anything else going on, Jeremy, or just getting over COVID?
Yeah, just that. Watching a lot of sports. That's about all I've been doing. Sitting on the couch, watching a bunch of old cold case files and terror plots that were stopped and all kinds of stupid shit like that.
Saint, he could have been catching up. He could have been catching up on Ozark.
We watched the BTK one.
I love BTK.
BTK, what's that?
Bind, torture, kill. He was a serial killer who decided to taunt the police and mess with them. And there's a Netflix documentary, I think, about him, 4-part documentary about his crimes and how they caught him and all that. Well, he's an idiot. That's how they caught him. But
yeah, Saint, do you watch Mindhunter?
I believe I watched. Did I watch? That was 2 seasons of that. 1 season, I believe we watched the first couple of episodes, or maybe even the first season. But it's been a while. But I remember watching some of that. Yeah.
Yeah, that show is great. I love Jonathan Groff. It's from David Fincher. But at the end of season 2, they're basically setting up BTK as like the next person they're going to investigate. But Fincher and everyone else kind of said season 3 isn't happening anytime soon, but there's been a lot of push for it recently. So I'm hoping that does happen.
So is that a drama or?
Yeah. It's basically about how the serial killer profiling in the FBI became a unit within the FBI. If you haven't seen it, Jeremy, you probably like it. I don't say from what you remember, it's not violent or anything. I know Jeremy doesn't like a ton of blood and violence or anything.
No, not particularly so. It dealt more with like the psychological aspects of catching serial killers.
Yeah, it's really well done. You should check it out. It's on Netflix. Let's see. If we want to keep it on the TV side, did either of you watch Justified? We were talking about Justified a few minutes ago on the other podcast while we were recording that. But Jeremy, Justified?
No.
Saint?
No. It was at a time where there was. I had too much going on. It was just another show. And it just, I don't know. I heard it was a really good show. Just nothing appealed to me at the moment. So we kind of skipped that one because typically we watched all the FX shows, but that's the one FX show that we skipped.
It's really well done. It's got Elmore Leonard's writing and they're bringing it back for a limited run, just like everything seems to be coming back for a limited run with Justified City Primeval. And I think everyone's coming back except for people are pissed that Walton Goggins, who played Boyd Crowder in Justified, and kind of it blew up his profile because he was just so great in that role. Just like he was in The Shield just like he is on The Righteous Gemstones, which is back on. Walton Goggins is a great actor. People are pissed he's not going to be in the series, but go ahead.
Didn't he play like a cross-dresser in Sons of Anarchy too? That's the guy you're talking about? Right.
Yes, okay. I forgot he did. That's right. I love him, man. First of all, he's got that hair and that voice and that accent. He's just really recognizable, but he's also just really great. And I mean, his breakout, obviously his star-making turn was in The Shield, which if you haven't watched that series, either of you or any listener, The Shield is fucking amazing. It's 5 seasons. It's 13 episodes each season. I love that show. That's one of the first shows that really, besides like The Sopranos and everything, it was right around that same time where serialized storytelling, 13 episodes, and this was on cable on FX. It was just brilliantly done. And it put Sean Ryan on the map to make whatever he's making now.
He has his own show, Goggins, right now, though. The Unicorn comedy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You know me. I don't watch that, so I'm sure he's good in it. Him playing
not a bad show.
Him playing a dad of 2 girls, widowed or whatever. Whatever. He's funnier, I think, when he does the kind of humor that I like. But that's just my personal preference. But I do think he's a good actor.
It's not a zany. It's not Full House by any means. So
yeah. R.I.P. Bob Saget. Callback. All right. Let's see. Let's talk about deaths because we just said R.I.P. Bob Saget. Fucking in one day. First, I wake up to the news that Meatloaf, which is still on our topic list, top 3 albums, or maybe it's not because that topic list got deleted. Top 3 albums we were supposed to do forever, and we never did. Meatloaf, Bad Outta Hell is it's definitely top 5 for me. It's probably one of my top 3. I love that album. I grew up on that album. I remember the cassette from my parents' car. That's how I was listening to it. I was listening to it yesterday and today because he died. 74 years old. I get it. He was older. He was always overweight. I saw him a few years ago at MegaCon. He was totally like off his rocker, not in a bad way, but he was kind of like really rude to the people who were asking questions, but in a funny way. And I don't know if that was intentional or just his personality. I have this great picture of him where he's making this weird face with his mouth and these weird hand gestures. He was great in fucking Fight Club. My Name is Robert Paulson, Bitch Tits. I love him in that role. Rocky Horror, playing Eddie. I mean, he had a lengthy resume over 5 decades now. And so, I'm going to miss the guy. That album that puts it up above everything else for me. I mean, do you guys have were you guys Meatloaf fans at all from his film work, from his music?
Not really. I mean, I knew a little bit of his music, but not a big influence for me.
Yeah, same with me. I knew some of the songs, but I know him mostly from his work in movies, and always seemed like, he always played a comedic role. And I guess he was in over 50 movies, which I was like, wow, I didn't know it was that much. But yeah, I mean, of course, some of the songs, Do Anything for Love, all that shit, but not a big fan, but I guess more of a fan of his acting because he always seemed like he was pretty good on screen. But yeah, besides that, not really.
Go back, listen, I challenge you, both of you, to go on Spotify, Pandora, whatever. You could probably catch the whole album, Bad Outta Hell. Not Bad Outta Hell 2, which has I Would Do Anything for Love, but I Won't Do That. And by the way, that's a whole separate thing because I fell into that whole camp where what's he talking about? What, he says, I won't do that, but he doesn't say what it is. He does say what it is. Apparently he did a whole thing on VH1 Storytellers on the blackboard. It's the first thing he says is what he won't do. He just goes into this thing about he lists everything that he will do, but then you have to loop back to I won't do that, which is the first thing he says. So he does say it, but everyone who hears that song and because it takes so long, and as he said, Jim Steinman, who died a few years ago while we were doing the podcast, and I did a little tribute to him too. He likes to write so much that you don't realize it's the first thing he said that he won't do. So I thought that was kind of clever.
What is it?
There's like 9 things in each. There's different verses. So at the beginning of each verse, he says one thing, and then he'll list everything he will do, and then he'll say his line: "I will do anything for love. I will do anything for love, but I won't do that." And so you have to literally circle back to the beginning of the verse to say what he won't do. Yeah, see, so it's just it's a convoluted way of doing it, but hey, that song was fucking successful as hell. But I do challenge you, go listen to Bat Out of Hell. It's like 7 songs. It's not a long album. It's really, I think, a masterpiece. I'm sorry, I don't know anyone else to say. It's really well done. Jeremy's sighing, so I guess we're done with that topic. Louie Anderson also died. Apparently, he had cancer. I did not know that. He died in Las Vegas. He was 68 years old. The guy was always heavy, obviously. So, I don't want to always use weight as, the cause of someone's death. It was cancer in this case. But, he was always a funny guy. He was hosting Family Feud for years. I remember him from, I don't know if you guys saw this. Jeremy, I was hoping, Will, because you're more a comedy guy. Did you ever see The Wrong Guys from the 80s where they played like Boy Scouts who were adults? It had Richard Lewis. It had Richard Belzer.
It does not seem familiar to me.
It's kind of like a cheesy movie, but
Didn't he have a cartoon at one time?
He did, Life with Louie, and that's how most people know him, because he voiced that.
Family Feud would have been where I would have known him from.
Yeah. I mean, just because I was shown it as a kid, The Wrong Guy stood out to me. It's a funny flick. Like I said, it's got a bunch of comics in it that are legends now. Belzer, Lewis, Louie Anderson. But yeah, I mean, it's just sad to see, people go. We talked about this recently. It's Jeremy, you're 42. I'm about to be 42. Sainte just turned 40. It just makes us, it's just like, hey, mortality, come on. We're going to be knocking on your door soon enough. And so 68, man, that's 26 years older than me. Like, I'm hoping I go a little bit past that, but we'll see. But what do you guys have to say about Louie Anderson?
No, I knew him mostly from the cartoon. Like you said, I was a big, I used to watch every cartoon when I was a kid. So that's where I mostly knew him from. And he had like a slight comeback. I don't know what the show's name was, where he kind of played, I guess it was a caricature of his mother. It's
Baskets. It was a Zach Galifianakis show on FX.
Right. Didn't really get a chance to catch that. I know he was a comedian. I think there was, he was kind of reserved. Was he the comedian that there was like some controversy about him for a bit? Or something, or maybe that he was just I don't know if it was said that maybe he was a closeted gay guy and that there was an issue that he never brought it up. I remember there was some controversy with him for a bit, but yeah, mostly knew him from, didn't really know much of his stand-up, mostly knew him from the cartoon. So sad to see him go. Another comedies losing all their old timers. So
yeah, I saw a picture that Gilbert Gottfried posted on Instagram. It was him, Bob Saget, and Louie Anderson, and he's like, this picture hurts so much to look at now. And it's just in the past 2 weeks he lost 2 people in that photo. So it just makes you realize that most of the comics, and even fucking Dave Chappelle, he was talking about Bob Saget, who we talked about recently. He never responded to Bob Saget's last text that he sent him, basically saying, hey, I love you, man, that kind of stuff, whatever he was saying. And, it makes I read that Chappelle said you have to live for, everything or something like that. You have to realize that these happen. But everyone that was one of his peers in comedy is older than him because he started out so young. He started out as a teenager. Everyone else broke pretty big when they were, in their 20s or 30s. And so he's in his late 40s now, I think Chappelle is. And everyone else is dying. So it just made him realize, I think, the whole death thing, not that, he's going to make jokes about it like he does everything else, and that's fine. But yeah, everyone's dying off. So Jeremy, anything else to add on Louie Anderson? I know you talked a little bit about him before, but.
No, like I said, I didn't have a lot. I didn't know his stand up at all. So just those few little TV things.
All right. And the one other death, did you guys please tell me you watched? And if you did not, you have to go watch it. The Jinx on HBO.
No, missed that one. There must be an initial one I missed.
It's really great. It's a documentary series on this guy, Robert Durst, who died. So they basically got him. They got him in a room. They interviewed him. He was always thought to have possibly killed. He was always a suspect in one of his wife's murder and some other guy. That's how they actually got him. They found him living in the house or the apartment of this body that they found, like in Texas somewhere. So he's been thought to have killed both these people forever, but they could never tie him to it. Eventually they did. So recently he was convicted of murder, and now, he dies. I think he was only in his like 70s, which is crazy to me because dude looked like old as fuck forever. But that documentary, I mean, do you guys want me to spoil it
or something?
Robert Durst? No, you're thinking of the... No, you're thinking of the other Robert.
I thought
Beretta,
Durst had some
Blake.
connection to Hollywood as well, though.
He may have. He was a really rich guy. His whole family, he came from money. So he may have married or been involved with some actresses. But in the documentary, there's he's wearing a lav mic. And he goes to the bathroom, and in the bathroom, you hear, and he's been asked all these questions about these murders in the bathroom, not realizing he's wearing a lav mic and they're still recording. He starts talking to himself, and he basically admits to having done the crimes. And so that's how he got caught. So it's really, the documentary is really well done. I really enjoyed it. But so now he's dead, after getting convicted fairly recently. I feel like 2018, maybe. So he only spent a few years in jail after killing at least 2 people. But yeah, he died too. So that's our death block, as everyone likes to talk about. I would show you my death tattoo, but it's under my long sleeve shirt. So I got Death from Sandman. You guys both saw that. I sent the pictures.
Yeah.
All right. We'll take a quick break and we'll come back and we'll talk about whatever the fuck. I got a few more things to talk about. We're not going to make this too long a show because we already did a long show with the USSR. So we'll be right back. You've been listening to Usual Saints. Come back and listen to Jeremy and his great advice that he's going to give on life and jobs and sex, right? That's going to be next on the Usual Saints. He's muted. I wanted to hear his reaction, but I know I don't want to hear his TV either.
Hey everybody, this is Zeb Wells and you're listening to The Usual Saints.
Welcome back to The Usual Saints. I'm Mike D here this week with Jeremy and Saint. Let's talk about the Batman. So are both of you going to go see the Batman? We have to call it the Batman because Batman was 1999.
Pattinson, right?
Pattinson. Are you both going to see? Well, let's talk about if we're going to go see it in theaters. Is that your plan, both of you?
I don't
know. I'm not sure right now, which is kind of funny because it was like Spider-Man. Oh, I'm definitely going to go see that. And, Spider-Man lived up for the most part to my expectations, so I wasn't disappointed. But it's like, I mean, this Batman looks pretty cool. I like the direction going in. I mean, I have some reservations, based on casting. I'm not saying this is a sure deal, like this is going to be a great movie. There's still some reservations for me, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to go to the theaters, and it's going to be PG-13, right?
Yeah, that's what I think a lot of people are disappointed in because of just how gritty the new trailers looked. They were always going to go PG-13. I don't care what Deadpool does. I don't care what Logan does. Batman is never going to be R-rated. So people want it to be R.
Mostly because they need to mass market it, right? I think that has less to do with whatever story it is. It's like we need as many seats, and if we make it R, we might limit the number of kids who can go by themselves to go see it. I think it's more of a business decision. No,
and that totally is, and I totally understand. But I would love to see an R-rated Batman. The closest we're going to get is the ones that get put out on like HBO Max, the animated ones. I think there was Death in the Family was TVMA. I think there was a TVMA, The Killing Joke. So, that's as close as we're ever going to get, I think, to a R-rated Batman or the video games, but those aren't even MA, I don't believe. Jeremy, you don't think you're going to go see it in the theater either? When was the last movie you saw in a theater?
Spider-Man.
Oh, you saw Spooderman?
Yeah.
Okay. But no, I know. I think the meme online is Spooderman. I don't even know where that came from. What? You just don't, you're not that attracted to based off what the trailer?
Just DC movies has just not been enjoyable to watch. It's just, I don't know, something about the way they're doing their movies I haven't enjoyed.
No, I get it. We talked about this a little bit. It's the joke. There's a meme. It has Marvel and it has a director. It says lights, camera, action. It says Marvel on the camera. And there's right below it, same picture. It says DC. It says lights, camera, or it says camera, action, no lights because, it's all dark and everything like that. Yeah, I get it. But I have some faith in the director, Matt Reeves. He's done some cool stuff. I think he did the first Cloverfield movie, which I enjoyed. I like Robert Pattinson. I know a lot of fanboys at first were dogging him just like everyone was dogging Affleck when he got cast, Michael Keaton when he got cast. He's really a good actor. I think I've told you guys before.
Kilmer or George Clooney, not sticking up for them.
Kilmer's a great actor, and so is Clooney. It's just those Batmans weren't well received. I've heard a lot of people upon rewatch that actually both of those films, Batman and Robin and Batman Forever, aren't as bad as we remember them in our heads. And maybe they're not. I guess, should go watch them again. But I mean, I stick up for Keaton. He's just classic. I'm sorry. He's the one who left the series when I think Tim Burton and him, Warner Brothers wanted them to make it lighter and not as dark as, Batman Returns and all that. And they were like, nah, fuck you, bye. And they left. Affleck, he's long said his experiences on like Justice League or Batman v Superman weren't the best. But Robert Pattinson, he's a really good actor. He's not just, Edward from Twilight. I keep bringing up this movie, Good Times. It's the Safdie brothers movie. It was great. Their films they did Uncut Gems with Adam Sandler. They are really good directors. And I highly recommend that movie. So I'm excited to see his take on the Batman. His Bruce Wayne looks a little douchey, but maybe that's kind of their angle they're going for, because Bruce Wayne is kind of douchey. That's kind of the character.
Emo Wayne with the eyeshadow or whatever. Okay.
We'll see what happens. I mean, I think it's going to be a lot of not romance like in a sappy way, but I feel like they're playing heavily into the bat and the cat aspect of it, just based off the trailers. And it's been said that Paul Dano's Riddler, they just revealed his look recently, is heavily influenced by the actual Zodiac killer. And what he wore, with his whole hood and kind of executioner kind of look. So we'll see, what it looks like. I think Colin Farrell is his name. Yeah. He looks totally unrecognizable as the Penguin. And I really like him in a lot of movies. He was really great in Bruges, which is a great movie. He was good in that Lobster movie, even though I really didn't like the Lobster. So I have a lot of faith in the acting cast they've assembled, and Heather's a huge Batman person, so we're going to go see this in 40X up in Orlando. You guys can feel free to join. I'll let you know when we're going to go.
Probably not.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
But anyway, the reason we bring it up is because it is officially the third longest superhero movie ever released. And that's after Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League, which was, 242 minutes or something like that. And Avengers, I want to say Endgame, which is, I think, 257, 258, something like that.
Well, was Snyder's actually released in a theater?
Yeah, I think they did release it in a theater or two. Sometimes they do that kind of thing. A limited run. But they're just saying superhero movie. They're not saying superhero movie in theaters. 242 minute movie, that's going to be a several platter movie, Jeremy.
I freaking remember King Kong pissing me off.
Why? Was that
3 hours? King Kong.
But that would fit on one platter, right? Back before we had digital movies.
I don't remember if it was a problem or not. I just remember it sucked because they wanted us to play it at 10 o'clock at night on a weeknight. Everything else would be over by, 11:15, and we'd be sitting there till 1 a.m. for the 3 people that came to see it on a Wednesday night.
Titanic being as long as it is, I think it was 10 reels. It fit on one platter barely. It was like literally at the very edge of it. I think the only one that I really remember being 2 platter movie, I know Gone with the Wind was. We had to have a whole intermission for that. So that was interesting. But this one clocks in at, without credits, 247, with credits 255. So that's long time. Maybe you want to not drink the big gulp in the theater.
Movie?
No, 255.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's with credits.
2 hours and 55 minutes.
Yeah, I apologize. 2 hours and 55 minutes. So if you are the type of person who don't watch the credits, then you'll be out at 247. If you do watch the credits like me, you got to wait an extra 8 minutes. Do you guys think, what's your opinion on that? Do you feel like that's too long? Obviously, maybe they have the content to tell in the story for that long. I would hope that they've edited it down. I don't think it's going to be a bunch of filler, but do you guys think that's too long for a movie?
So what do they have? 3 villains in there?
Yeah, if you can't count Catwoman as a villain, which you probably should, then they had 3. So
no, I mean, it's obviously she's going to be more of a love interest, kind of like she ends up on working with Batman more than against him. So that's kind of where they've taken the Catwoman character in the comic books and in the animation in the last decade. She's less of a villain. She's more like, yeah, I'm with the Bat family and I help Batman out, and I might just steal some money every once in a while, So she's not going to be a villain.
Well, I say villain only in the sense of that she's not a hero. She's an anti-hero, maybe we would say. I mean, in Dark Knight Rises, she was that way. In the games, even she's portrayed that way. I mean, even in Batman Returns, Michelle Pfeiffer's was she really a villain? No, Penguin was the villain of that movie. He was the one blowing up the city, or because he was the orphan that was taken in by the Penguins. Which I still love Danny DeVito's performance, and I forgot to mention that in the fucking USSR. Oh my god, have you guys seen that meme recently? Because remember in episode 3 of Book of Boba Fett, where he gets thrown around by Black Kirsten-Tan, and he's on the ground and he's all wet from the back to tank. There's a scene in It's Always Sunny where Danny DeVito is covered with this like lube from head to toe, and he's basically wearing like a diaper kind of looking thing. Looked exactly like Tamura Morrison on the ground after Black Kirsten-Tan. So there's a meme floating around about that. That was funny.
That's funny. That sounds funny.
It's hilarious. I'll send it to you guys when we're done. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited. The more movie that I can get, the better. I'm sure it's going to be the first and most likely at least a trilogy, because studios like to operate in trilogies nowadays. So I'm excited, and that's only a month and a half away, I think. I don't think they're going to push it. I think they're going to stick to their guns. Paramount's fucking pushing everything. Paramount pushed Mission Impossible 7 and 8 an entire year each, and the rest of their slate too. Quiet Place 3 or whatever the next Quiet Place is going to be. So I think the Batman has been...
They're still pushing everything from the pandemic?
Yeah, because of Omicron and everything. Paramount's not taking any chances. They have Paramount Plus, but it's not like they can just release a movie there like day and date like Disney Plus or like HBO Max can do Warner Brothers things. So I think they're just like, nah, fuck that. I'm just going to go play it safe and push it another year. I don't love that because, by the time things come around, it seems a little dated sometimes. But Mission Impossible, I think they're going to make millions and millions of dollars anyway.
Speaking of which, when is the next, what's the next big Marvel movie coming out?
You got Strange.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it comes out in May. And then you got, what comes out in the summer? Shit.
Yeah. Moon Knight is confirmed March 30th.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange in the theaters is May. And then, they switched it around. I don't know is Black Panther now October?
Black Panther's November.
And when's Thor
filming with that?
Yeah.
She returned to filming.
Yeah. I mean, she came to her senses, just, hey, what are we doing here? They're like, hey, you're leaving a whole shit ton of money and we will repay, So yeah, she's back to filming. Go ahead.
Thor, Love and Thunder, which is actually, I think,
That's
end
what
of
I was
phase 4. Yeah, that comes out July. So that should be cool. But to answer your question, Jeremy, the next Marvel movie to come out is going to be Doctor Strange in May, I think that's going to have a lot of characters in it. I mean, it's about the multiverse. So I think we're going to see a bunch of different versions of characters, just like we did in What If. And we'll see what happens with that. We'll see. I would love to see a fucking live action version of the Infinity Stones, fucking Ultron. That would be great, but I don't think we're going to see that.
No one going to see that.
No.
People are wondering if we're going to see possibly, bring in the introduction of the X-Men, because we're dealing with the multiverse. Maybe bringing Kang. Obviously, we're not getting Ant-Man Quantum Mania till 2023, but maybe a way to set up Kang a little bit more since we're doing the multiverse and the time stream. I hope we get a hint at the mutants, but we'll see. But so I never got a chance to say, I don't know. It seems like they maybe have a lot on their plate with this version of Batman. And I know if I directed a Batman movie, it'd be hard to cut it down. But yeah, almost 3 hours seems, Endgame and Infinity War, and you're dealing with multiple characters all over the place. You needed that time. You tell me you can't get a Batman movie in like 2 hours and 15 minutes. I feel like there's going to be a lot of setup in the beginning, trying to introduce us to this Bruce Wayne, introduce us to Robert Pattinson as Batman. I think that's going to take a lot of quote unquote, the first act, and maybe that first act may go on for over an hour. So
yeah, I hope it's not too boring, but I have faith. We'll see. I could be totally wrong. I'm sure we'll do a USSR on it if you're still around. If not, then we'll talk about it on the normal podcast.
Yeah, Saint, you heading back to the ocean?
I've got everything worked out where I'm on a pretty much solid rotating schedule this year. I'm going back like end of March. So
you talk going back to the ocean like he's fucking Ariel or something.
The Netflix version of Ariel.
Is that Ariel or is that which one is that one? That's one of the Disney princesses, but
no, that's Ariel. She's doing her voice for Ursula under the sea.
Yeah, right.
And she's like, yes, Ursula's like trying to capture that voice or whatever. That's great. That's gonna be the cold open. All right, so we'll take a little break. We'll come back. We'll talk about the M&Ms for a minute. We'll do some more Chad stories. Jeremy doesn't even apparently know about the M&Ms. That's fine. And we'll whatever else we talk about, we'll have another quick, fun little block. You've been listening to Usual Saints. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Trooper James Casey. You're listening to Usual Saints.
Welcome back to Usual Saints. I'm Mike D here this week with Saint and Jeremy. Jeremy, you don't know anything about the M&M backstory shit?
No, what you got?
Oh, well, so it's Mars that owns M&Ms, right?
Sure.
Yeah,
sounds right.
Sure. So they're changing the backstories. They think that the green M&M is too sexy with her boots and whatnot. And I guess people have said that for a few years or whatnot, like they're trying to appeal to fucking whatever. And so they're kind of taming her down. I think they're putting her in sneakers, things like that. And the orange M&M, which I don't even know which one the orange M&M is he caramel? I'm not even sure.
I don't know.
But apparently he has anxiety issues. And so he's always like anxious. He's got this, like, he's got a squiggle for a mouth rather than a smile or whatever. And he's got untied shoelaces. So now they're officially diagnosing him with an anxiety disorder. And they're going to make sure his shoelaces are tied to make it sure that it doesn't seem like they are mocking people with anxiety disorders. So I don't know what spurred all this. We talked a little bit on the USSR about, focus groups and or groups at companies like, hey, do we really need to do this? What are you guys' opinion on this? How do you think this even came about? Because I didn't read too much into it. I read a little bit of the article and I just laughed at it. I mean, is this silly? I think it's kind of unnecessary.
So it's either one or two things. Right. It's either, all these corporations, and people don't understand when we talk about, I hate using this word, woke, cancel culture, all that. I hate using those words, but it's the only way you can kind of talk about what we're describing here. Either a corporation, is trying to do redesigns, trying to, update their characters and stuff. Whoever is in charge of those kind of things, because there are people who like decide, the look and feel of our characters and our mascots and whatnot, and decided, we're going to make a change. Like I said, the biggest problem I have with it is the way they announce it. And if you want to be more conspiratorial in the way I look at things, sometimes I feel these companies, they do these things knowing it's going to get this kind of think about it. Would we be talking about M&Ms in any other context? I sort of, if you want to go down the rabbit hole conspiracy, I sort of think sometimes these companies do these things on purpose just to get people talking, even if it's backlash. The idea that no press is bad press or no publicity is bad publicity. Like, we do these things just to get ourselves back into headlines / Twitter sphere / people talking about us. And at first, I didn't think that either, but the more and more it goes, the more I'm thinking that may be a viable argument, as opposed to just companies are just like, hey, we did this, and knowing how much there's a backlash to it. Like, you have no one at your company who really thinks like, yeah, people are going to look at us like we're silly. Maybe, and someone's like, well, at least they're going to be talking about us. So that might be the point. But go ahead.
If that's what they're going for, they're idiots. Because M&M's is a fucking candy. You either like them or you don't. I don't know how much advertising is going to get me to go buy M&M's versus a Snickers bar. It's what the fuck I like when I get there. They're all next to each other. It's not like I don't know what M&M's are already. So to me, all it's going to do is alienate people who are tired of this overreaction to, the fucking cartoon character Candy did not need to have a diagnosed whatever. It's just fucking stupid. I don't care if you made the green M&M too sexy. I'm not looking at the Candy character as, there's going to be porn for it no matter what out there. Rule 34.
Rule 34.
Sure. But there's I don't care. And I don't know who does care. Who the fuck asked for this? And who the fuck cares? I don't get it at all. I get, when you have offensive characters, yeah, that can make sense to me, and still quietly get them the fuck out of there. Why the fuck are you making this a huge deal? Should be quietly moving them on. But, brings me right back to fucking Aunt Jemima, who was a fucking actual woman that made a lot of fucking money for the time working for this company. I can't tell you the name of it now. It's something Mill. I don't know. You got rid of the most recognizable person in that line, maybe other than Mrs. Butterworth, and I don't know the name of your fucking company anymore. I don't get it. And who asked? Who wanted this? I just don't fucking get it.
Well, to be fair, how many times did you masturbate to Aunt Jemima? Because I know I've done it at least 10 times. So.
Using Mrs. Butterworth?
Damn it. I forgot about Mrs. Butterworth. Have both of them right next to each other, touching the bottles. Oh, how am I doing that? I don't have 3 hands. I'm at least entertaining Jeremy Sainte. Go ahead, Sainte.
No, like I said, that Aunt Jemima shit had to go. I mean, if you've seen some of the Aunt Jemima caricatures from the day, again, just get rid of the logo. Call it Aunt Jemima. Just get rid of the character of it. You call it Aunt Jemima's, but just don't, because if you've seen some of it, it's some of the most racist Sambo caricatures, big red lips, black skin, shiny white teeth, all that fucking blackface stuff from back in the day. But here's what I'm saying. And I get where you're coming from, Jeremy. I just think that it's the same reason why you ever watch a commercial. Let's take all this, rebranding or whatever. You ever watch a commercial and it feels like the commercial has nothing to do with the advertisement? Like Coca-Cola have a commercial that doesn't even feature Coke in it, or you watch a commercial and you're just like, how the fuck is that? And I know marketing, it's something about how you just want people thinking of the product. Like you do some commercials and some advertising is just so people are reminded about that product. And that's why I think a lot of this goes to where some of the people are like, hey, instead of paying money for a big marketing campaign and whatnot, we'll just do something to put ourselves back in public conscious. And yes, there may be a backlash to it, but for the most part, they just want people thinking about M&Ms. And that's where I'm kind of getting, because I read an article saying that someone thought that a lot of this controversy that you see is just companies doing that. It's like, we just want our product in the sphere, people talking about it being on Google search or whatnot, as a way to remind people, hey, yeah, M&Ms. Yeah, that's kind of a silly thing they do, but we haven't bought M&Ms in a while. And at first I was like I was skeptical of it, but the more and more this happens, the more and more I'm thinking that this may be an actual thing. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not really into conspiracy theories, but I am in the thinking that, companies are lazy, and instead of paying for marketing, they do this. And maybe they have numbers that show they get the same amount of clicks or same amount of engagement as they do with normal advertising campaigns.
Looking at the Aunt Jemima thing, just so we can clear this up. So apparently it's called Pearl Milling Company now, which is weird. But Jeremy, I guess there was an actress that portrayed her in 1893 at like a World's Exposition or something like that. But it was apparently, according to Wikipedia anyway, appropriated from a vaudeville blackface character created by someone named Chris L. Rutt and Charles G. Underwood for their ready-made pancake flour mix at the Pearl Milling Company. And it's generally considered to be based on the enslaved mammy archetype. So that's what Wikipedia says. So it was the Pearl Milling Company, and there may have been an actress that portrayed her at one point, and whether or not she actually resembled the blackface character or what we think of as Aunt Jemima. Like, I'm looking at a picture of her right now. Like, I don't know if this woman resembled her. Let's look at a picture. Oh, dang.
If you just Google image Aunt Jemima and you look through the years, no. There's a lot of this is just racist character, just bullshit that they use as a character. Again, at one point, people don't know this, but yeah. But then if try to pull up Aunt Jemima logo and then go through some of those and see how that logo's been. Oh, actually, this is pretty cool. We should do this more. It's better than looking at your face.
Looking at me?
Yeah, images.
Slave in a box. Jesus Christ.
Right. The mammy look, the one with the hoodie, the Aunt Jemima hoodie, that's one. And, eventually, yes, they gave her like an updated, whatever look. But it was just basically a caricature. And it's like, this was, right? You know.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about, Jeremy. It could be a little problematic, I guess.
But to your point, it's like, yeah, that needs to change. Again, this M&M thing, the things these other companies do, I just have to think that making big stink. I literally believe that some of this stuff we'll do whatever to get into the public discourse, and it's just to get the publicity and promotion. And maybe it's cheaper than an actual advertising campaign because they haven't had to animate or do anything. They just basically did a quick redesign and you get all this coverage. And I would love to be in the numbers to see, like, just based off this, do they sell more M&Ms? Not thinking in a positive way, but it's just like, because we have people thinking about M&Ms, we sell more, right, whether good or bad. So,
all right. Any further comments
to ask you about? I got a different topic, if that's all right.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Mike, this is an open forum.
You're a fan of Big Brother. Do you watch the celebrity version?
I do. Is it back on?
Well, it's getting ready to come on, I think, in the next week or so. And there's some rumored, confirmed names. Half of them I've never heard of. Might just be me. Camilla Morone, Dennis Rodman, I know. Erica Jane, Grayson Dolan.
Erica Jane's from Real Housewives, I think.
Okay. Grayson Dolan, James Hinchcliffe. That name sounds familiar. Leah Remini. That's King of Queens, Scientology.
Well, actually, she's been doing that People Magazine game show. I don't know. Sometimes we just put the Game Show Network in for like background noise, and she does it's like the People Magazine crossword puzzle. I'm like, oh, how the mighty have fallen.
Let's see, Sean Spicer, the
God,
White House guy. Tiffany Pollard, Todrick Hall.
Why does that name sound familiar? Tiffany Pollard.
I don't know.
Let's look.
The last two are both two that I might tune in just to watch. Tanya Harding and
Nancy Kerrigan. Oh, no, Nancy Kerrigan would have been better.
No. It would have been awesome. Having both of them on the show would have been phenomenal. But
can we get Jeff Gillooly above that?
Wait a minute. You said Tiffany Pollard?
Yeah.
So she's New York from the
Flavor of Love.
Okay. Oh my God! I don't know what happened to some of these women. Jeez.
Are you kidding? Son of a bitch. I hate that.
I need to set this shit up on my DVR. I forgot about it. No, I mean, I'm going to watch it just. I'm going to watch it just because I'm a glutton for punishment, and you got me addicted to fucking Big Brother like 20 years ago. Thanks for that. So we're going to watch it, but it's short.
Rodman could be fun. Harding's going to be a train wreck. Vanilla Ice should be interesting.
Vanilla Ice is actually a smart guy. Beyond the whole thing where he tried to say that Under Pressure and Ice Ice Baby don't sound alike, because theirs goes dun 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 dun, and his goes dun 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 dun. So that was the stupidest interview he ever did. But he's actually a smart guy. He's built a pretty thriving business, I think, down here in Florida. Regarding Rodman, it depends, man. I don't know if he's medicated. If he's medicated and he plays all right, he might be able to hang out in the house. If not, he's going to be like Meta World Peace, and he's going to be out of the house in a few weeks. He's going to probably leave the house.
I normally don't watch the celebrity version, but I mean, just talking about his friendship with Kim Jong-un should be fun.
Someone's going to bring it up. It's going to be like he's going to try to defend Kim Jong-un. Yeah, Spicer. Yes.
The reason I don't like some of the celebrity versions of some of these things, especially for something like this, is because by being celebrities, they already have this like status of like, I'm above this, or they want to be treated a certain way. So it kind of throws the aspect. Like I said, I haven't watched Big Brother in a while, but they have celebrity editions of a lot of shows, and I always feel like they don't work as well because, like you said, Rodman, he's going to be in there, he's going to do his thing, and then he's going to get purposely kicked out because, like, oh, well, they gave me my money. I don't want to be here with these people. It's not going to be like a true competition where people are like really competing to get, a big chunk of cash. So,
it happens at a much quicker pace too, right? They're not in there nearly as long as.
No, it's like a month long, maybe 45 days. But I mean, Saint, I get your point, and some of these people have made money, but at the same time, this isn't people who are like currently successful. These are people who probably do need the money, maybe not as much as some of the people on a regular Big Brother, but these motherfuckers are not. They're not rolling in the dough, I don't think. But yeah, I'm excited about that. That should be interesting. All right, go ahead.
Interesting to see if I know who half those people are if I actually see them.
I'm gonna watch it because I just didn't know it was coming on, so I'm gonna have to set it up. Let's see. Did you guys hear about A Christmas Story Christmas?
No.
So
they posted something.
Yeah, they're doing a sequel to A Christmas Story. Am I wrong in assuming that you guys being of the same age and ilk as me, you guys are fans of A Christmas Story, right?
It's probably
that's one of the kids sticks his tongue on the pole, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not.
BB gun.
It's okay. It's showing its age now. I mean, but I don't consider it a classic. I mean, a new class. I mean, I'd replace it with Elf any day.
Oh, nah. Elf's all right.
It's not Die Hard. I mean.
Not a Christmas movie. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
What the hell is wrong with you?
If you take out Christmas and replace it with New Year's Eve, it's the exact same movie. Christmas has nothing to do with Die Hard. Die Hard works if you replace. Now, you wouldn't have Die Hard on Valentine's Day. I mean, it'd be a different movie. But if you make it New Year's Eve, same fucking movie. It's not a Christmas movie. We enjoy it because Christmas adds that little extra sprinkle on top that makes it an all-time classic, but it's not a Christmas movie. Die Hard does not need to take place during Christmas to work. It doesn't.
Anyway, still a great Christmas movie.
I was going to say all in favor of voting Sainte out of the usual Saints due to his not enjoying and not thinking that Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Die Hard is like this is a great argument though. I love when people bring it up. I get what you're saying, Saints. I understand, but Christmas is associated with the movie. Like you think about it, he's going to LA for Christmas to see his kids. Does he have the bear in that one? I think he does too.
I think he does.
No, because the limo driver, fuck, what's his name? Not Neville. What the fuck's fuck? I hate when I can't remember names. He has the bear in the limo with him. So yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but I still lovingly, because I know it spurs debate. I love to say that it's a Christmas movie. But anyway, apparently A Christmas Story is getting a sequel with the original Ralphie, Peter Billingsley, who's done many things, including he was like a producer on Elf, since you brought up Elf. He's a good buddy of Jon Favreau's, actually. He's directed a few movies, Couples Retreat, things like that. He's a producer. He's a behind the scenes guy. So he's going to be acting as adult Ralphie with his own kids in A Christmas Story Christmas. So I wanted to see what you guys had to say about it. The weirdest thing to me is apparently they're filming it this year in Hungary. So I don't, I mean, I guess you can film anything wherever, especially if it's on a set. That's fine. I get it. Exteriors, I don't know how that would work as well. But
maybe the weather is working at that time, but whatever.
Yeah.
Tax breaks.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of hate these things. Yeah, I'm probably going to watch it, but I hate it when it kind of, it uses your nostalgia to try to sell something. So that's what's most bothersome to me. I'm hoping there's some great story for it, and that's why they came up with it. And I'm hoping it's not just to sell something because, like me, I have a leg lamp on my tree, a leg lamp ornament. When I put up my Christmas tree, I think I have the Ralphie pink in his pink rabbit suit that we put up on the front lawn, the inflatable every Christmas. So I'm a fan. It is a little cheesy, it's a little corny, but it was made for kids. The whole oh, fudge, and he's like, only I didn't say fudge. That it's a kids movie basically. So I'm interested in seeing what they do with it, but I wanted to get your guys' take on it. So that's it. Jeremy's got K. All right. So if we got nothing to say about that, let's do Chad moment of the week before we leave. You guys got any Chad moments of the week? Jeremy, you missed Saint's Chad moment.
No, I do not. What you got?
Saint had a Firestone experience that was not so pleasant. He used it he used my response to it as the cold open last week, which is pretty funny. But so let's see. I had a whole thing at Wing House. I talked about it in the last episode. I'm not going to rehash, but I'll give you the quick synopsis, Jeremy. Wing House is like a Hooters. I was over on the West Coast. I went to a few of them. I'm like, why wouldn't I just eat at a restaurant instead of a normal restaurant if the food's good? So I ate there. This one particular time I went, ordered chicken tenders and broccoli. Got the broccoli. Chicken tenders were not great. The waitress said, I'll switch it out for you. Got me a hamburger. Hamburger was fine. She brought fries and a hamburger. On the check, it showed broccoli, burger, and iced tea. I said, hey, the broccoli was supposed to be my side. And she's like, oh, no problem. She goes to allegedly take care of it. The manager had already come over after she knew that my food got exchanged and said, "Oh, if you need anything else, blah, blah, blah." Long story short, the waitress comes back at the end, says, "Oh, there's an upcharge for broccoli." This wasn't just an upcharge. This was I got charged an entire side of broccoli. It was $3. That's not an upcharge. That's not like $1 upcharge or something. She said it's a $3. There's an upcharge anytime you order vegetables. So I paid. I left. I was like, whatever. I didn't want to deal with it at the time. I had to go to work. I sent a message on the corporate website. Never heard anything back. That's where I left Sainte last episode. After that, I tweeted at them on their Instagram or on the Twitter. I messaged them on Instagram and I messaged them on Facebook. No response. So I Googled the corporate. I was going to do corporate email bomb, but I couldn't find their email addresses. But lo and behold, wouldn't you know it, that the corporate office is apparently in Largo, Florida, which is not far from where I was working. So guess who drove to the corporate office the other day?
Wow. Oh, yes. Fucking the chat is back. Go ahead.
But unfortunately, I knew you guys are going to have that. I know you guys are going to have that reaction when I said that. I pull up to the corporate office. It has the name of the corporation. It says Kurz Inc. because technically it's Kurz Wing House or whatever. I go to open the door and it's locked, and I look inside and like it's cleared out. So I don't know if the corporate office moved or if the company is performing so poorly that maybe the corporate office is just operating out of one of their restaurants. So when I noticed that the place was empty, I did call their phone number that was right above the address that was listed that I went to. And I got, it's a voicemail. It said, press this number for this number for this. So I pressed the number for customer relations and I got a voicemail. It was like 12:30 p.m. on Thursday, maybe Friday. So I left them a voicemail. And so that's where I'm at right now. If by the time we record the next episode, I'm hoping to have a response. But right now, I don't have any response. So, Jeremy, do you think I'm going too far for $3 worth of broccoli? Or do you think this is...
I'm just disappointed you didn't get in the door so we could hear about how you were trespassed from the facility.
The place was literally cleared out. It looked like a Ponzi scheme place or something, where like the offices are cleared out. It had like, you know how when you ask for a box for your food, if you don't eat all your food, there was a box in like a cabinet that was totally empty except for a fucking styrofoam box, like nothing else. I peered in the windows, nothing was in there. So besides the logo on the awning above the door, which was kind of overgrown. So I think they either moved their office and just didn't post the new address online, or there was actually a wing house right next door, which I was like, I should just go walk over there and ask them where their fucking corporate office is. But I did not because I had other things to do. But I thought you guys would get a kick out of me driving to the corporate office.
That's awesome.
Absolutely. Jesus. Yeah, that'd have been an epic chat of all time. Yeah, you should have, obviously you didn't have too much to do if you're stopping by corporate. You should have went over to the Wingstop and been like, hey, where the fuck's the corporate office? You guys, is a Ponzi scheme going on?
I should have. I listen, I was on my way south to St. Petersburg from where I was staying. It had to be Friday. So I checked out the hotel. I got my tattoo touched up. I drove to the corporate office, and then I drove to somewhere to eat lunch. Where did I eat lunch? Oh, I wanted to go see the Gulf of Mexico before I left. So I ate at Sloppy Joe's Treasure Island.
You done eating? You done working over there?
Yeah, I'm over here now again. So no, I'm not going back. Sophie, you haven't done the show in a while. Sophie, a few weekends ago when I was home, she said something. She didn't express any emotion or anything really. Me going, she didn't really seem to care. But then a few weekends ago, she mentioned something, and it was like she wants me there. And so I said, "Do you not want me to go back?" And she said, she said, "Sure," I think was what she said, because that's what she says instead of yes. So from her, that was a lot. So I knew that she doesn't want me to go back. So I'm not going to volunteer anymore, even though they still want volunteers to go back. And it is easy money, easy work. You get overtime. If I was single or whatnot, if I wasn't going to miss time with my kid, I'd still do it. But nah, I can't do that. So
try spending 6 months on a boat in Alaska, man. It's just... Wow. If it was easy, I'd be like, if it's a month at a time, I guess I can't talk, but I'd be like, hey, if I was making more money and it was only a month at a time, I'd be like, you gotta do what you gotta do. But if you don't have to, it's better to spend time with the kids. So
yeah. I only got 3 years left with her, man. She's about to get her permit next month. We just got to figure out how to go about getting that done. And she wants to go to Flagler College. So like I told you guys, I got to think about starting to save money to get a place in St. Augustine or something.
Well, that ain't a cheap college either.
No, it's $38,000 a year. That's with room and board and everything, though. So
maybe you get a place in there so she can live at home still.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I got the state money. The Florida prepaid paid for already. So we'll see. We'll see where we are in a few years if she changes her mind.
The private college.
No, it doesn't. But it's basically like my money just sitting there, so I could use it for. But I'm hoping she would have enough. I'm hoping she will have enough scholarships. Right now, she's like 36th out of 500 in her class, but she wants to switch high schools next year. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, she doesn't like the IB program.
She just doesn't. There's not a lot of people. You know how she is. She's a little shy and reserved. So there's not a lot of people she knows up there. Her best friend goes to charter, so she wants to try to get the lottery to go in a charter. She just has nothing that is keeping her at IB. Charter. She doesn't do sports. She doesn't do like at clubs, things like that. Charter doesn't have any sports, and they have the AP and everything there, so she can just do that. And she just needs to keep her grades up, get the scholarships, and go from there. Did I have any other Chad things? Something happened today. Oh yeah, today we got we were going to get the tires done on my wife's car. I call the place. I get the quote. I go there. I call them, make sure they're going to have the tires. Have an appointment scheduled for 12 p.m. My wife drops the car off. They tell her it'll be 2.5 hours. We're like, cool. We go to lunch. We have a nice long lunch at Cracker Barrel. We go drive around the outlet mall just to show them what stores there are. We didn't go in any stores. We went to the regular mall, the Dead Mall, Indian River Mall, and went to Books A Million, bought Sophie 2 books. And then we went to Target and did our shopping. So it's 2:45 by the time we're done. We pull up to Tires Plus to get the car, and because it's supposed to be done. And my wife says, hey, that's weird. That's in the same spot that I parked it in. 2 hours and 45 minutes ago. So I go in and I'm like, hey, yeah, we're here to pick up my wife's car. And they're like, oh, what's the last name? Yeah, okay, that's my last name. Yeah, okay. Let me go check on that. I'm like, yeah, it's weird because it's parked in the same spot. He's like, yeah. And he walks out. He walks to the garage. And then this guy who I guess, I don't know if he's the manager or whatever, he comes over. He's like, oh, yeah, that's that I have one guy that can work on that car. I can have it done in like an hour and a half if you want. I said, yeah, we dropped it off at 12 p.m. for a 12 p.m. appointment. You told my wife it was going to be 2.5 hours. It's 2:45. And he's like, well, I only got one guy. And I said, okay. And so, and the guy comes back and I'm like, hey, yeah, can I just get the key? Thanks. And I got the key and we left. And so, I mean, why would I give a business like that what's going to amount to probably between the tires and the lifetime alignment we were going to get there? Why would I give them $1,000, hundreds of dollars, $1,000 to fucking do that? Like the guy tried to say, oh, it was a drop off. Yeah, it was a drop off because I wasn't going to fucking wait in the waiting room. Like you quoted me a time. I made an appointment. We ordered the tires. Like, so who's this on? Like, am I overreacting? Should I have just left it because he said all of a sudden he could magically have it done within an hour and a half? Or what do you guys think?
I mean, like I said, the way I feel about shit now, like I'm becoming more and more of a Chad. And yeah, I'm like, fuck that, man. Customer service is, you're either getting great customer service or shitty customer service. And, the way money is and, how hard you have to work for money and prices going up. It's like, yeah, don't accept shitty service. It's like in the grand scheme of things, would it matter to them? No, but yeah, fuck it. If not, I'd probably done the same thing. Like, nope, see ya. Get my keys. I'm done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of waiting around. You missed the best part of the story, though. Was it the Great Hambino or not?
What's the Great Hambino?
The character in Sandlot? Instead, I think.
I don't know. I tweeted at him, actually. I could show you the tweet. I asked if he was in Vero Beach at a Cracker Barrel. I haven't heard back from him. I think the guy looked a little younger than probably what Patrick Renna is now. But yeah, I'm gonna put a message on their, send a message to them on their website, the feedback and comments. If I have to executive email, I will. I didn't spend any money there, but I feel like if they want my business at this point, they got to earn it back. And I do want to give it to them because I've had some bad experiences with Goodyear in the past. I really don't want to go to a dealership. When we brought the car to Firestone, the Kia that got totaled a few years ago, the fucking STMS, the tire pressure thing, they fucking just broke that off and didn't tell us. And so all of a sudden we're getting all these error messages on the car, and we had to bring it to Kia, and it turned into this whole big thing. So we have limited places we can bring it. So I was hoping to give it to Tires Plus, but fuck them if they're not gonna be cool about it and honor their appointments and get it done when they say they're gonna. Fuck them. So that's me. That's my Chad moments of the week. So thought you guys find those entertaining. All right. So let's see. We're going to wrap up the show. Find us on theusualsaints.com, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, The Usual Saints. What else we got? The email address, usualsaints@gmail.com. Leave us a review, rate us on Apple Podcasts. I don't think any other places do ratings, but leave us a review and rate us, and 5 stars, and we will read it. I don't care if it is a 10-minute thing that I have to read. I'll read it. You want to put Ted Kaczynski's thing manifesto on there? I'll read it. That's fine. Jeremy's giving me a look. All right. So for Jeremy and Saint, I'm Mike D. Thanks for listening to The Usual Saints.
Have a good night.
He wants to talk about Vinny, but he wants to log off.